It is what it is, folks. Ghana's Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has just announced that Ghanaians are once again eligible for 5-year multiple entry visas and other enhanced consular privileges at the U.S. Embassy. And he referred to this as good news because now Ghanaians can continue leaving the country to America with less restrictions. It is what it is, like I said, folks. The black man, or to be precise, an African Minister of State, is the only person that will celebrate this as though it were an achievement because he just don't have any plans of making his home good enough to live in. He actually described it as a big win for Ghana. By the way, the U.S. government in July of this year placed a restriction on visa options for Ghanaian travelers. They limited most Ghanaian visas to a single entry 3-month duration from previous multiple entry 5-year duration. The U.S. government did this because Ghana's government initially pretended to act tough by bluffing to not accepting criminal deportees from the U.S. But the U.S. government knew that that was an empty bluff, ladies and gentlemen. Trump always knew our politicians and their families and their cronies cannot hold up to their stance because they love to travel to America. He knew it was only a matter of time for us to fall on our knees and beg for a reversal. And that's what exactly happened to this government, ladies and gentlemen. They have accepted the deportees as though they did it for humanitarian reasons. But let no one fool you. There is no humanitarian connotation to it. It's purely for their access to the U.S. market to get the multiple visa entries and especially to avoid Trump tariffs. So Ghana government, after accepting to take in the criminal deportees now, have our visa options reinstated. So don't make it look like we did something special to get the U.S. government to remove the restrictions. You simply barged or you caved in. You agreed to the terms and conditions of the U.S. government on taking in deportees. These are the facts. This is the fundamental reason the U.S. has reinstated us to the 5-year multiple visa option. My question, however, to the minister in charge and ultimately to the president of Ghana is this. What else did you agree to make the U.S. government rescind their decision? What other conditions were tied to the visa deal, which you aren't telling the public at this time? Because it was through this same type of means the U.S. government got access to establish their military base in Ghana. So, what are the full details of this new agreement that isn't made public yet?